We had not started building the town yet, of course, 4 years ago. That did not happen until Christmas.
Okay. What's your name?
Constance Hopkins.
Ah.
I live just up the street.
Hi.
My father is one of the governor, his assistants this year.
You said you were born in Hampshire.
Yeah, in Hampshire.
How long did you live there?
When I was very little. When I was very, very little, I was in Hampshire, and then I moved to London with my brother to live with my uncle when I was 7 or so.
How long did it take your family to build this house once you guys got it?
The houses were built. Well, you understand, we were hurried, so we left off some of the more nicer things like a loft. But it was also winter time, and so the ground was more frozen. And because they are earth-fast houses, we had to build holes into the ground. So it was slow, but much of what the loft that was added later. The chimneys, many of the chimneys were added later as well. So it was 6 or 8 weeks for each of the houses. And while we were building them, we were living on the ship. Except for the sick, who were, as soon as there was a structure here, the sick were brought off the ship.
You guys landed in December, is that right?
We landed a few times.
A few times.
We first arrived at Cape Cod in November,
Okay.
and then the men went searching a few times for a good place for a village. We must needs find area that would not be too difficult to clear of trees, and also fresh water is very important. And because we first landed on Cape Cod, not all of the water there, at least where we were, not all of it was fresh water. Much of it was salt, and so they were exploring a little bit. But we began building these houses in Christmas.
Did you have to spend much of that first winter on the boat?
Yeah, I did not move off the ship until the end of February. And it was dreadful. We spent, you must understand, we first boarded the ships in July, and then we did not actually begin our journey in truth until the beginning of September, because there had been a second ship with us that proved leaky. And we tried to begin our journey a few times before we left the other ship behind, the Speedwell, if you have heard of it. We left that ship behind, but we spent 2 months starting our journey and going back to repair the ship. So I was living on a ship for the better part of 7 months.
And your mother?
Yeah, well, my mother was very pregnant. And so if we had left when we were supposed to have, she would have had the baby here. But because we did not actually begin crossing the ocean until September, she gave birth on the ship while we were in the middle of the ocean, in the middle of one of the greatest storms I have ever experienced. Yeah.
It's been really hard for her to actually
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah. There were many women on the ship who helped her, but yeah, it was not. I do not think she would choose to do that again. Are you looking at the flowers? No, you're not looking at the flowers.
Mistress Fuller said she was going to use them to make some sort of posset
A posset?
or something.
Yeah, that's calendula. It's excellent good in a pot, but it's also it's more hotter herb. So if you have a cold, it will help clear your head. It also gladdens the heart a little bit. Oh, thank you. How's it coming? Oh, that still needs a little bit more. Farewell.
Okay, so we should probably go. It is probably time for me to go and get my lunch.
All right. Hey, how are you? Would you like to be helpful?
Would it be helpful?
No,
No,
you do not
you don't
have
like
to.
to help people?
Well, I just have some corn to pound right here if you wish to try
You
it.
want to try mashing up some corn?
He needs some help.
Why not?
Corn, you want to do it?
That's how we make our flour.
Yeah.
To make our bread.
You like bread, right?
We eat bread at almost every meal. But it's bread of the Indian corn. Have you seen this? Would you like to come touch it? It will not hurt you. It's just hard. It comes in different colors. You can see it here that some of it is more purple. And we dry it and then we have to pound it into flour, and that's how we make our bread. Do you have to do that when you make bread?
With corn?
Yeah, with corn. Yeah. Have you ever had bread like that?
Look at it.
No.
No? Would you like to see what it looks like
Bridget,
when
pay
it's turned
attention.
into flour? And here, well, there's some bits that are more still corn, but do you see the more gray part? Yeah, that's flour. You see how it breaks into smaller pieces?
Yeah.
After that's all been pounded up, we have to separate out the more hard parts, and then we use that to make corn. Not corn. It is corn to make bread.